Yo, what's up with y'all, man? I hope you're doing good. If you're new and you're a fan of the NBA, subscribe to this channel. So let's get straight into it.
It's like it's Minute Maid, hijack 4, renegade, 24, number 8, Kobe shit fade away, ballin' since 11th grade, still in school, let them hate.
So a couple weeks ago, I dropped this very video right here, and if you haven't watched it, go ahead and fix that. And also, while you're at it, go ahead and fix you not subscribing to the podcast channel that I do with the Rusty Buckets. Link to it right there as well. And while you're at it, you might want to go ahead and check out the Apply Pressure hoodies since they go away this month. But back to the point before I get sidetracked again. If you didn't watch that video for some weird reason, shame on you. To sum it up in a few words, I discovered, mind you, I did not say it at all, y'all not gonna catch me slipping, no way, not today. But I discovered and ventured the idea of the Sixers potentially splitting up the duo between Embiid and Simmons. And if they were to explore that idea, then Embiid has to be the one to go because it only makes sense. And what triggered me into making this video was seeing all the success that the Sixers were having without Embiid in the lineup since he was hurt. Since then, even more fuel has been added to this real life fire. The fire that's been slowly but surely burning down the interior of this team. There's been a bunch of social media drama and a whole bunch of Philly fans talking crazy out the side of their neck. Tension is real and it's clear, and it's brought me to this point. I'm at the point where I'm ready to say, you've caught me slipping. Not only do I think that Embiid is going to get traded this summer, but I also have an idea of who would also make a move for him. Let's explore. Just sit here and visualize all the hungry peasants around the league throwing up the most outrageous, attractive, yet mouth-watering offers. Off the top of the dome, this was not written, my boy. Teams like the Washington Wizards could call him up and offer up Bradley Beal and Davis Bertans and whatever picks for Joel Embiid, and I'm pretty sure that the 76ers would be like, hell yes. That idea that I had a couple weeks ago was spurred within the moment. It happened within the flow of the video. I really do this. And after all the noise and ruckus that happened a couple weeks after that, I seriously think that that video right there isn't an outlandish one for one bit. Now, first things first, we have to know who our personnel is. Who are you working with? Who are we talking about? Who are we trying to work out a deal with here? And the man is Elton Brand. He's one of the newest GMs in the league. Also, if you haven't noticed, he's one of the most impulsive humans to run an organization. Elton isn't a bad GM necessarily, I'd say, but he definitely isn't a good one. He severely lacks patience and has been making moves out here as if he was doing a Miley on the 6 Rings of Steel's tip. He's consistently trying to make things happen, which isn't a bad thing, but he sort of set himself up for failure this summer. Let me put it like this. He took a rope and he hung it around his neck and whoa. That's a bad analogy, ain't it? Because he's a black man. Whoa. On Black History Month too, I would do this to myself? Oh, Lord. I gotta cut this out. Now I'm gonna keep it in there for entertainment. But look at me though. I mean that, like, it ain't that deep. But in an attempt to fix that, he's probably gonna have to move one of the most beloved figures in Philly, and that's Embiid. Simply because he's quote-unquote the most valuable player on the team. The ceiling isn't too high with Embiid on the Sixers because of the tragedy that Al Horford's contract is. And also because, let's be honest, when was the last time that we saw a big man be the best player on a championship team in the NBA? You don't know? Because I don't know either. Someone like Al Horford is much more useful to someone like Ben Simmons. They need as much spacing as possible since Ben Simmons doesn't believe in shooting the ball. Now, if you haven't been able to put the pieces together on my channel over the last 2-3 weeks, then this is where it gets really intense. I literally just made an in-detail video about the Sacramento Kings just 2 to 3 weeks ago. Check it out. Sacramento has had some of their most important players show clear and obvious frustrations this season. And most recently, again, Buddy Hield was quoted basically discussing how he wasn't happy with being a bench player in the future. The type of things that he's been saying over the course of the year, even with his new contract, should set off a whole bunch of alarms in your mind. Set off alarms because something is about to happen. Someone is about to get moved out of Sacramento. So by putting 2 and 2 together and considering how impulsive of a GM Elton Brand is and how these Sacramento Kings are, you know, still the Sacramento Kings, not very good. A deal between the two coming into the future is a very real possibility. Now, I mind you, I haven't seen any rumors from anybody like Woj, Mark Steiner, or anybody of that nature in the NBA world. I was literally on my phone one night, chopping it up in the IG DMs to one of y'all. And if you haven't already, go ahead and follow me on IG and talk to me. Say what's up because I'm going to respond. Now, I'll be over here getting lonely sometimes, so go ahead and shoot me a message. This idea popped up in my mind when this man was crying in my DMs about how garbage his favorite teams, the Sacramento Kings were. And in that moment of time, this Embiid drama was still in the air. So I'm predicting that if, or actually scratch that, when the Sixers are in shambles once again after another disappointing playoff run, on draft night, I will not be surprised if the Sixers put Embiid up for sale and move on from him. Do the right thing. The truth hurts, but it'll definitely set them free. That's what they say, right? And automatically, Sacramento, knowing what they have, they're probably going to be a suitor. Obviously, Buddy Hield and Joel Embiid aren't even in the same universe in terms of talent. And if the Sixers want to get greedy or flip an asset, then they get Marvin Bagley from them as well. This swap right here benefits both teams immediately. For the Kings, this damn near solidifies them as a playoff team with the core of Joel Embiid, De'Aaron Fox, and Bogdan Bogdanovic. I'm not saying that they're a championship contender or anything wild like that, but with a healthy Joel Embiid playing alongside two talented young guards, it'll take a heck of a lot to derail their playoff hopes. This is just what a team like the Sacramento Kings need. And as for the 76ers, you finally allow Ben to grow in his own space and dissect NBA defenses in any way he wants. Because as we all know, Buddy Hield is literally one of the best shooters in the league. Building a championship team starting with these two is a great move. A move that they should want to do, and I didn't even get to discussing their potential lottery pick. Because they could either A, keep and develop, or go ahead and trade for an asset that could help them win right now. This trade proposal makes way too much sense to not happen. But what if it doesn't? Well, sit back and continue to watch while I get into my bag. Washington, the Wizards have been Okay, not really. I'd be lying to your face if I told you that they were in an interesting position. What's going on over there in Washington that has fans over the edge of their seats? What's new? Someone please inform me down below in the comment section because I clearly haven't gotten the memo yet. Washington has been one of the most confusing teams in the league for a while now. Before Bradley Beal signed that 2-year contract extension, he was on track to be the next star in the league to be traded. It felt like the universe had everything falling into plan. Washington literally had nothing great to talk about on their team. Did y'all know that Bradley Beal threw up the highest scoring average ever in NBA history to not make an NBA All-Star appearance? The man's is throwing up nearly 30 every night and failed to make it not only because his team has almost zero clout, because his team sucks, yet someone like Trae Young is able to become an All-Star starter. How does that work? I don't know. Y'all don't think that that sort of bugs Bradley Beal? That doesn't take him off just in the slightest bit, not a tad bit, no? Well, it might. That, along with so many other things that he's been through on this team, could push him to the edge. Now, I don't think Bradley Beal or the Wizards would initiate this trade, even though Bradley Beal really should. But once that day comes, most likely this summer, and Philly realizes what must be done before they hit up someone like Sacramento first, Washington for sure will be probably the first place that they go ahead and call. Because Bradley Beal is not only one of the most realistic fits right now, but also he's the best fit for Philly. He's been shockingly the focal point of the 6th best offense in the league. A lineup of Ben, J. Rich, Beal, Tobias Harris, and Al Horford is a recipe for domination for Ben Simmons. There's literally nothing a team can do to stop this offense. Elton Brand would literally do this trade in a heartbeat if another playoff failure fell upon his shoulders. And honestly, I think that they'd be much better off with something like this than any other realistic trade that anyone could think of. And as for the Wizards, I mean, did this trade put them in a better spot? Like, I'm not sure, to be honest, and I really don't care right now, to be real. We're talking about the same team that traded away 19 points per game this year Kelly Oubre for a season of Trevor Ariza.
I can't, what am I gonna say? I can't believe it. Okay. I can't believe what I'm seeing.
They do pretty stupid things, and I don't think that this right here could be one of these stupider things that they could have done. Noel is a 25-year-old, soon to be 26 years old, next month big man in the NBA, who's been known to be the best at his position when he's healthy and right in the head. I really don't know how a team like Washington would want to rebuild around him, and that's really not my issue or none of my concern. Because they can't seem to do anything right, and this video isn't about that. Our focus, however, is on Embiid and the Sixers. He's going to be one of the hottest, but also riskiest trade assets out there in the league. The last team that could end up making a move for Embiid is actually the most popular destination.
I agree with you. They can figure it out, and they're really super talented. And you look at Boston, I mean, they've thrived together. I still think if they had another big in Boston.
Even though this may not be the most realistic and appealing trade out of the 3 for the 76ers, it still has to be covered and at least glossed over. Because to be honest, it's a pretty cool idea to play with. Miami Heat in my mind would seriously consider this if they do not think that they have a chance at swinging and hitting on Giannis Antetokounmpo in the summer of 2021. Embiid isn't necessarily the best fit big on that team because spacing isn't ideal at all. But with the coach that they have and all these shooters that they have on their team, they could definitely make it work. Now before they even toy with the idea of Joel Embiid being a part of their roster, they gotta be willing to break themselves apart and forfeit some of their assets. And their most impressive asset that a team like Philly would really want is Tyler Hero. He is the centerpiece of this deal, and honestly his mentality on the court suits well in Philly. His shooting ability, tagged along with his confidence, age, and potential is something that Elton Brand would be willing to take on. Tyler is one of the few players out of the NBA draft to show that he has what it takes to be an all-star one day already, and that one day could definitely appear in Philly. But that's if and only if Philly complies with Joel Embiid's request, which they don't have to do at all. None of these thoughts, except for the Miami Heat idea, as far as I know, hasn't been discussed at all. I think if not two of them, then at least one of them is a real possibility this summer. Shipping Embiid out of the East to the Western Conference in return for a bunch of other assets and an all-star-esque guard who fits really well with Ben Simmons is the first move to make in order to retool this Philly team. That is the most realistic and possible option in my mind as of February 17th, 2020. But until June, we just gotta sit down and wait to see what happens. This is the end of the video though, man. I really do appreciate you for coming over here on my channel and seeing what I have to talk about today. I really appreciate you for that. That's hella dope. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the Hoopscast channel. Go ahead and check out the Apply Pressure hoodies and follow me on Instagram. Make sure you go ahead and leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on your Mojofication bell, and also, more importantly than all of that, make sure that you make your day great. But until then, I'll get right with you.
No way, remember back when I couldn't get a play, no home, I ain't have a place to stay, I got to work, made it serve free to way, told my girl who'd ever